كيف نصمم برامج إسكان تبدأ من الناس وليس من الأبنية؟ تناقش هذه الجلسة كيف يمكن أن تكون المشاريع الإسكانية أكثر من مجرد مأوى، أن تكون استجابة حقيقية لاحتياجات المجتمع الديناميكية ثقافياً واجتماعياً واقتصادياً. ونبدأ الجلسة بعرض حول صندوق السكن الاجتماعي ودعم التمويل العقاري، تقدمها سعادة السيدة مي عبد الحميد، الرئيس التنفيذي لصندوق الإسكان الاجتماعي ودعم التمويل الاجتماعي بجمهورية مصر العربية. أهلا وسهلا بك.
بليز. انا ما فيش قدامي شاشه هنا، الشاشه هنا بقى، في شاشه هناك، يعني اعمل وانا قاعده احسن. م? احسن. نبدا فورا ولا we start? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to be among you today in this distinguished conference and among the distinguished guests. I'm May Abdel Hamid, the CEO of the Social Housing and Mortgage Finance Fund in Egypt. We'll try and give a quick brief before the panel discussion starts on what we are doing in Egypt in making houses affordable and responsive to the needs of the community and low-income beneficiaries. First of all, we as a fund have been established since 2014 in response to a change in the constitution which sets the right to adequate housing for low-income people. We were mandated to provide, design, and made the arrangements for financial arrangements to make houses affordable for low-income housing. We've had other funds who were responsible of making the loans or the mortgage loans affordable for low-income housing since 2010 as well. But we decided in 2018 to have a body that would be responsible of doing all these mandates together. So we merged both funds together, and we had one entity, a governmental body, who is responsible of addressing the social housing needs in Egypt through making the arrangements necessary to make it affordable by government interventions in the forms of subsidies and so on. We started by deciding what are the core housing needs prior to the program. So we had some barriers that we needed to think about it. We didn't have, we had a big shortage in supply of low-income housing prior to establishing the funds. Property prices were very high compared to income levels, so we realized there is a level of government intervention needed in the form of subsidy and so on. We had also a very high interest rate regime at the start. I think it was between 14 to 15% interest rate. Nowadays, in the past couple of years, interest rates hiked further to 27 and 28% for a regular mortgage. So that was definitely a barrier against having a house that is affordable. We had a very slow infrastructure growth and pollution in informal housing. People were more or less getting houses in informal areas to be able to get access to those housing because they are more affordable, but the environment was not a good environment, no planning, not formal housing and so on. So we needed to think of building communities that addresses the needs of low income really, and provides good quality of life as well. So these were our challenges at the start. So we had adopted a participatory approach in planning and in financing, and we've had a lot of consultations with the lenders, with developers, and with the people themselves. What are the kinds of flats they're looking at? What are the barriers that made them not inhabiting houses in new communities? And we found out a lot of them are suffering from lack of services or economic activities in the new cities where we used to build social housing historically, prior to launching our new program and prior to establishing the social housing fund. We decided that we are going to build most of the units in new cities, but we needed to set some criteria for the houses so that the demand for it is there and the affordability as well is there. So we signed 2 agreements with the World Bank to fund the subsidy of beneficiaries. We at the cost of construction with the income levels, we were not able to reach the beneficiaries. So we needed to put some subsidy in as a government to bridge this gap. And we needed also to have mortgage loans from banks to ensure we have sustainable funding for the program, and that we can reach the target levels of houses that we need to deliver each and every year. So we've had also our talks with the central banks prior to launching, and with the banking community in general, to see what are the barriers to entry from their side, so as to address all the risks that banks think would prohibit them from financing low-income beneficiaries. So, and after all these consultations, the central bank came up with an initiative which he considered a teaser to the mortgage market for low income, and that was for the first time done in the banking sector in Egypt. Low income beneficiaries were perceived to be the highest risk group of beneficiaries or client customers. So we needed to put a lot of incentives for the banks so as to encourage them to lend low income beneficiaries. We started by providing them with 4.5% margin on loans availed to low income earners. We also decided with them to provide an insurance policy against the default of beneficiaries for banks who feel that there is a high risk element in financing low income beneficiaries. So some banks bought these insurance policies to cover the default risks. Others decided, no, we will proceed and we have enough collateral to collateralize such a loan, and we have a decent margin that would allow us some good profits as a bank. We started with 3 public banks only in the beginning, because other banks were reluctant to finance low-income beneficiaries. But with the development of the sector and the increase in demand, one year after another, we started to see other banks coming in, and we managed till today to have more than 30 lenders availing funds, mortgages at subsidized rates for low-income beneficiaries at 7% currently, which is a huge subsidy for beneficiary. We also managed with the banks to finance the most marginalized groups. In the early years of the program, we have seen some groups being rejected by banks. So women were not accepted, informal income people were not accepted as well. So we had to work with the banks on the terms and conditions of the loan to encourage them to reach out to those marginalized groups as well. Through accepting higher down payment from informal income, for instance, through getting a guarantor for a woman, her husband, if she is using her income to pay the mortgage installment each and every month. So by now we have, as I said, 28 lenders. We have 5% of beneficiaries who are we have 24% beneficiaries are women. We have as well around 25% as well who are informal income. We provide those beneficiaries with cash subsidy that is deducted from the value of the property, which is sold at cost and financed by the fund as well. We act as a master developer for the low-income housing projects. We bring in private contractors to execute the units and deliver to beneficiaries, but we provide some cash subsidies, and this cash subsidy differs from one income level to the other. So as not to waste the subsidies, we give the lower the income, the higher the subsidy level is. And we end up with some income levels that they do not need cash subsidy. They get only a subsidized loan if they fit within the eligibility criteria. We have a tailored housing provision to community needs, as I said. So we've set some ceiling on income between now we have 15,000 for a household, 15,000 Egyptian pounds, which is around $300 almost, and for a single person, 12,000, which is around $220 US per month. We set an age group which is between 21 to 50 years. We have different models. We have a 75 square meter unit and a 90 square meter unit as well. We have a wide range of subsidy levels, as I said, graded according to income. Maximum installment per month is 40% of income level. So we were at 30, then we increased this to 35, then to 40%, because some people have some informal income that they can't prove. So we agreed with the banking sector lately to raise that burden to 40%. The loan tenor is from 7 to 25%, 25 years. These are the kind of communities we built, integrated communities in new cities where there is connectivity to the old cities. We choose the land and we make sure there is proximity to nearest work center that does not exceed 45 minutes per day. And those cities that are established, we make sure we have certain economic activity in the city so as to reduce commuting time for beneficiaries back and forth every day. We build all the services around those projects, so the hospitals, the school, the churches, the entertainment activities, and so on. Most of the services are operated by private sector. We build it and then get a private sector operator for those services. We are scattered and present all over Egypt, 27 governorates. We have definitely promoted households' living conditions. We have landscape. All the houses have adequate ventilation, landscape around, big gardens and green areas. We ensure access to clean water and electricity as well. These are live pictures from our projects. We have also decided, and since we are the largest builders since 2014, we have built so far 725,000 units, and we have managed to deliver 650,000 out of those units in the past 10 years, which is a huge increase from what we used to deliver in the past. This is almost what we have built in the 50 years prior to launching this program. And since we are building large number of houses, we have decided to expand also to green. especially that Egypt is characterized by high temperature mostly in summertime, and we have a big season of summertime, so a lot of ventilation required and air conditioning and so on. So we have decided to expand into green since 2020. And so far, we're building around 55,000 green houses. Those greenhouses will help reduce CO2 emissions and will reduce the utilities bills, I think, between 25 to 30%. It's quite challenging because the cost of greenhousing is a bit higher than a regular low-income house, around 10%. But the benefits on the long run and the medium run for beneficiaries is better because it's going to reduce their electricity bill. And we are going to launch this batch of greenhouses for sale maybe in the coming 6 months as well. We are trying to promote social cohesion and targeting and focusing as well. So Egyptian citizens between 21 and 50, as I said, first-time home buyers, they do not own a house. We make sure we check they do not own a house in any part in Egypt before allocating a unit to them. We target all the marginalized group. We measure the social impact beyond the numbers. So it's not just delivering 10,000 units each and every month, but we want to make sure that people go and live there. So we assess the occupation of the units. We send people to check whether the beneficiaries are there in the units or not. And if units are closed, we get contacts with beneficiaries to see what are the issues that are prohibiting them from moving into those apartments. And we have a contractual agreement with people in the mortgage contracts that they have to go and live in those units for 7 years at least before we allow them to get rid of the unit or sell it in the open market, so as to make sure that we develop those communities and those new destinations, and also to make sure that we are addressing the people who are in need, because if people are not in need, they are going to close the houses and leave it as an investment. So this is not our priority. So we ensure that beneficiaries are there. So far, these are our key achievements. First year in launching, we had 19,000 beneficiaries. Last year to 2024, we had 571,000 applicants only for 78,000 apartments offered. So around 8 or 9 times the units we are offering. Total applicants, now we have more than 2,200,000 applicants at our end. We don't have a big queue. Some of these are rejected for different reasons, not fitting with the income criteria, or owning a house, or having a bad credit history, and different reasons for rejection. We only have in the queue people who are waiting for their apartments to be delivered. So people pay the down payments over 3 years, and by the end of paying the quarterly installments and completing the down payment, the units are ready for delivery. So we deliver the units after the 3 years to beneficiaries. The beneficiaries so far, we have 1.5 million applications assessed and examined. And as I said, we had very high rejection rates in the beginning. And with the years, we have managed to improve the acceptance rate either by banks and by the fund. We go and do field checkings on beneficiaries to make sure that they fit with the criteria. These numbers are the key achievements we managed to reach up till now. As I said, 725K fully finished units, 650 allocated already to beneficiaries. We have some extra units in tendering process we are going to construct as well. And we have around 260,000 units under construction. Those are going to be delivered in the coming 2 years, timely, based on the date of reservation by the applicants. We have also made some middle income units as well, around 33K, of which we have allocated 9,000. And we have 25,000 units as well under construction. These are how our beneficiaries look like. Mostly we have government sector employees, 29%, private sector employees, 48%, self-employed, 23%, male and female, as I said, 76 and 24. And this is definitely a breakthrough, because women in the country, in Egypt, their ownership rate in other than low-income houses are 5% only. So this is a breakthrough in numbers. Most of the applicants who received their units are married with children, around 56%. 65% of those beneficiaries dealt with banks for the first time. And by the way, this is a program for financial inclusion as well for beneficiaries. So we introduced a lot of new customers to banks, and now they can cross-sell after few years to those low-income people whose income improve gradually over the years, and they can sell to them other products. Banks are making good profits out of these loans. We managed to reduce the margins of bank to 2% from 4.5%. So, and they're still making profit and competing with each other to get more files from low income. The default rates so far are less than 1% for banks. So the program proved that low income are the most keen on paying their installments in due time. Very low compared to other retail loans, and this is what encouraging other banks to try and join and get a bigger portion of the files that are sent by the file. And thank you for this time.